This may be one of my most controversial videos. Let's get it. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. So I trip out when I see content creators, YouTube content creators, people in the prison genre who are not from California speak about California. I see that people that are from outside of California like to say that California's prison system is majority SNY or PC, right? And I find it kind of strange that people from other states would say that when they have no clue, no idea of the politics of California. There are dudes who get washed up on damn near a daily basis out here in California who are deemed no good out here in the prison system in California, and they're not a rat, they're not a coward, they don't have a sex case, they just ended up on the short end of a political situation. That's the reality. And they get whacked, they get pushed out, pushed to the other side, whacked to the other side. And you know, there's some dudes. I know one dude, he got whacked. He went to 4 different facilities and got whacked, and then was like, fuck, what am I supposed to do? Keep going until they kill me? It was obvious. There was no, you know, so, and that's not a rare occurrence. There's people that come back and then boom, they get hit again. And they didn't forget how to be a gangster. They didn't forget how to kill people. And some go to the other side and they do kill people. California's SNY yards are more violent than most other states' regular prison yards. That's a fact. It can be looked up, right? Me, I don't glorify prison. I give a damn about who's killing who and who's craziest and which state and which system. I'm just addressing the statements of those who have never been in our system. And I'm also here to offer an opinion on how the SNY could have been stopped, not by green meaning the cops, but by blue meaning the convicts. How the flow would have never stopped. There's still going to be instances, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, but there could have been a clampdown on by the convicts to slow to a trickle the flood that started. And it's a simple thing, but the implementation and the guidelines, if and I'm not speaking for anybody, I never do. I never speak for anyone but myself, right? But there's one thing that's not offered in California behind the walls, and I think probably should have been, and had it been, there wouldn't be as many SNY yards as there is. And that one thing is called retirement. If there would have been an option, if people would have placed the option, there would have to be criterias. Each faction would have to come up with their own specific criteria. But if they allowed retirement as an option, however, you can retire, remain on the yard, but you're still, when it's a racial incident, gonna be expected to participate. Certain things could be put in place where, hey, Holmes, you know, that's an option. Once it's earned, it's available. Because I can tell you right now, not one organization of the big 4 in California, not one of them will ever think twice if a dude is deemed no good for paperwork, bad paperwork, for being a fucking rat, for burning people, for not being able to fucking take care of their responsibilities, for stuff like that, good riddance. Survival of the fittest. You couldn't hang. You're a coward. You're a rat, whatever. Then you take your ass over there where you belong. That doesn't hurt any of the big four. But a cold reality is this. People get political fatigue. People get tired of the politics, of seeing good dudes get washed up. Their own camaradas get washed up. And they know A to Z what happened and why that vato's no longer right there with them. And there are vatos that get fatigue. They get disillusioned. And they say it ain't for them anymore. And that hurts the organizations. It doesn't matter what faction it is. They have lost someone who was an asset, someone who was valuable. And giving that individual the option to retire, they retain that value. That vato's not going to be right there, hey, Holmes, putting his 2 cents in, but he's also not a thorn in your side. And if push comes to shove, that vato still has love for his gente. He just doesn't have love for the politics. I'm not someone who could ever make that kind of call. But I find it surprising that after all these decades, there hasn't been a discussion to say, hey, we need to stop losing righteous camaradas, righteous soldados who just got tired, who got burnt out. Doesn't mean they're a coward. It's they don't want to hurt their own no more. They don't see the benefit of it. It's always fun when you're young, man. When you're young and you don't know any better and you're trying to make a name. But when you think about it, once you get 10 years in, whatever it is, man, and you realize, fuck, I'm making a name whacking my own camaradas, my own homeboys. Might even be one of your own family members. Because you put that thing before you put everything. God and family. They come after that thing. And when I say that thing, I don't mean one of the big four. I mean the cause, the causa. That becomes priority. That's paramount when you're behind those walls. And like I said, man, there's dudes who will kill you at the drop of a fucking hat. Will kill you over disrespect. And they're deemed no good, but they will still take that mindset with them. It's a trip, man. It's so unfortunate that the system in California is so cannibalistic. There's other things when I hear certain people from certain groups say certain things, I really have to bite my tongue. Especially if they are not raza and they talk about raza and they use certain terms and they call people certain things when it's like you don't function under that type of strictness, that type of cannibalism, that type of rigidness. Not even close. So how do you speak on it? But, this is YouTube. This is, it's social media is like a masquerade, right? You can be whatever you want to be. Especially those people who don't show their face. Nobody knows their name. Or they hide in places that no one's ever going to be. And they talk tough about people whose dick they couldn't carry. They got it in their mouth all day, but they can't carry the motherfucker. I say it all the time, man. I am not impressed. I am not impressed by a person's words and how tough they are. You know, when you're in the system out here in California, you could kill somebody today, but tomorrow's a brand new day, homie. What you did yesterday is already done, homes. What you doing today? That's the reality of how it is in California. I'm sure it's that way in other places too. But when you add in the politics of everything, when you add in the cutthroat mentality, the cannibalism, California's in a whole different realm. And I don't say this to brag about it. I think it's a shame, man. I do. I think it's a shame. I want to see people succeed, man. You know, having been a gang member, knowing why I got involved in gangs as a kid, having spoken with hundreds of people, having mentored people, I know why they got involved. And it has to do a lot of it has to do with the video I did today on my other channel, on the Dubs channel. Finding acceptance where you feel it wasn't like you wanted it from the home, but you come from a broken home, and so you didn't get that. And when you didn't get that and you saw it in other places, it wasn't there. But the streets had it for you. The neighborhood had it for you. The barrio had it for you. Juvenile hall, you found it when you went. I remember when I was a kid, man, when I first went to juvenile, I fucking hated it. I hated every time I went to juvenile hall. I hated every time I went to jail. But you know, when I was a kid and I would go to jail and I would get out and the homie, damn, this fool's crazy, Holmes. This fool just got out. Holmes, he be doing this. Today, Holmes, he was doing that. And then you forget how much you hate being incarcerated because you love the adoration, because you're a kid. Then you develop this whole character and it becomes you. It takes over who you really were supposed to be. And you find yourself doing stuff to remain that person, to uphold that reputation. You ain't gonna put up with nobody's shit. You already built that. You've established that. Now, if you take a step away from that, that's like blood in shark-infested waters. It's over, right? Especially amongst the raza. I remember telling homies, be like, hey, Holmes, we're going to go over here. Holmes, get in the car. Hey, who's going? Nah, I'm good. Because they knew somebody's going to probably wind up in the hospital once we get to them. And they're like, nah, I'm good. And I remember being like, you fucking you're a pussy, homie. Get in the fucking car, you fucking pussy. And he's supposed to be my homeboy. I'm supposed to be his homeboy. And I'm treating him like that because he's, you know what? He's smarter than me. Because he has a different idea of what life should be. Yeah, he's from the neighborhood. He grew up in the neighborhood, got jumped into the neighborhood. But you know what? He sees something bigger than the neighborhood. When you're a kid, you don't. I didn't see that. I told the story of being in New Folsom. Got a letter from my road dog. He had went to the military. They put him in the Navy because he had enlisted with the Marines. They sent him to the Navy because he messed his back up prior to getting enlisted, or prior to enlisting, I should say. And he wrote me and he had said something about he had been in the military. He had been in the Navy like 9 months and he had seen 7 different countries and he had been all over the world. And I was like, who the fuck is this, man? And I threw the letter away. Damn shame. I should have been like, good for you, homeboy. I'm glad you're seeing the world. I wish I could be right there seeing the world with you. Nah. So I get when people on YouTube have that same mentality. You haven't grown yet. You're mentally stunted. You're at 15 years old. You got a 15-year-old controlling a 50-year-old body. You haven't grown yet. I know I'm in the weeds. And like I said, this is going to be a controversial video. But listen, man, those of you in the joint and you're seeing that floodgate still, you know what time. You know when you see somebody who's a good dude, just say they're tired. It's got to be a different thing, right? You lost. You lost out when you see that dude go. When it's like, damn, him? Yeah. Yeah, he didn't want to stab another homie. Eh? He didn't want to wash another homie up. He didn't want to have to kill another homie. I don't know, man. I'm sure the comment section will be a little bit wild in this one, but at the end of the day, man, I wish everybody behind those walls peace, safety. I know you got a job to do, man, no matter where you are behind them walls. I haven't forgot how it is. I never will. And I know that you can't say it and you won't say it, but you know in your heart, you wish you were out here, man. And I wish you could figure out how to do it. Your family misses you, you miss them. You can't think about that because you got to think about what's right there in front of you. I get it. But it's beautiful out here, man. And the thousands and thousands and thousands of lifers that have gotten out, we're trying to represent you guys well so that lawmakers will say, hey, you know what? People can change. And hopefully they give you all an opportunity to get out here and experience this, man. Those of you youngsters that are watching this, if you think going to prison and being around a bunch of miserable men and developing a hate in your heart that you don't even, you have no clue yet what it's like, it's not for you, Holmes. It really isn't. That's my video for today, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out of here.